I tend to draw a nice Fibonacci retracement and at something called the golden pockets between the 0.618 and the 0.65 is a fantastic area. Look at it, it's the exact same thing. At the breakouts, I'll add much more margin, and if we're lucky to get a retest like we did here, I'll basically keep that until the top of the next cycle. I'm a buyer already at 58, and if we go down to 50 to 46, beautiful, I'll buy even more.
Looking into the channel's data, I couldn't help notice that almost over 90% of you watching my videos are actually not subscribed to my channel yet. If there is one simple thing you can do to help me, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Your support means a lot to me. Hey guys, welcome back to another show today. I'm here with the one and only Crypto Kid in the studio. It's good to have you, bro. I missed you.
I missed you too. I'm so happy to be back.
What do you see coming in the charts?
The good news is, I think the low is coming up pretty soon. The bad news, we can likely drop a bit more until we get there. Firstly, your beautiful website, mrmpodcast.com, amazing. Uploaded a brand new tool where you can see on a slider bar the 4-year cycle correlations. Now, me personally, I love the 4-year cycle, and that's exactly what we use to determine that, okay, October 2025 is going to be the top. And I publicly made a video at 100K saying that, guys, I'm so sorry, we've broken the 54 simple moving average, we've followed the post-halving year Q4 top, and why should I assume something different to a system that has successfully predicted tops and bottoms since inception? So for me, that was the pivot in, of course, I have my forever hodl Bitcoin, but if I can foresee a 50% correction, then why not sell a portion to then buy back double? That's how I think through things, and I'm fundamentally a trader. So that's what I did. And here's the interesting part. We're getting close to what happens to be the bottom in every single Bitcoin cycle, and that's expected to be 364 days exactly from the top, October the 5th. And something bad happened, Mr. M, yesterday. You see this very ugly looking chart. We actually have broken below a multi-cyclical line of supports post a ridiculously bad June of being down 20-ish%. So Bitcoin created this line of supports beginning from the 2019 bear market. We held it up beautifully in 2019. We held it up perfectly in the COVID crash. And when I shift into the weekly time frame, you'll notice how much better it is. And then in 2023, it also held up until now. Like I said, on the weekly, this support line, even nicer. You notice that there is no singular candle breach in the COVID crash. It was just a couple of wicks that went below. In 2023, candle bodies closing over. Amazing. So on the weekly, we penetrated this support line already like a month ago. The monthly time frame was the final frontier in saying, hey, maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, 10K and it's awake and we're good to go. That didn't happen. Right now is July the 1st. So with this, it's not like a pattern that you can draw, let's say, a height and then extrapolate a potential price target. So we need to get manual. And the way that I like to determine a good target for Bitcoin to reach, which fingers crossed could end up being the low for BTC of this bear market that's due to come in somewhere around October, I tend to draw a nice Fibonacci retracement and at something called the golden pockets between the 0.618 and the 0.65 is a fantastic area that Bitcoin has a high probability in retesting and reaching. When you go into the weekly, you notice that from just the Japanese candlesticks alone, how crucial this range of price really is. 2021, initial high, price finds support, you break it, you capitulate to a mid-bull market, bear market, until that resistance gets broken. You go to the ultimate all-time high. March of 2022, you retest it, you capitulate by 67%, and then finally the Bitcoin ETFs, the launch, the hype, it gives you resistance, you break it, you go to 71, 74K. August 2024, Japanese yen carry trade capitulates you into the golden pocket, reverses you to hit $100,000 for the first time ever. And right now, well, with accordance to our price-based support line, a great area for Bitcoin to establish a low would be in this range, and when would we get there, in my opinion, towards Q4 of this year. And just to address something that people misunderstand, like people tell me, okay, crypto kids, so this is when I'm going to buy in. I say no, because unfortunately, like, we can do technical analysis and it gives you great probabilities, and you can time things better than most people, and it gives you the edge. However, none of this is guaranteed. What is guaranteed is that Bitcoin already is down a whopping 55% from its all-time high. And what is guaranteed is the 4-year cycle suggesting we're almost at that historical bottom. So because we don't know for sure if Bitcoin will continue retracing, maybe it doesn't, maybe it goes to 35K, I can only look at the statistics given in front of me that are factual. 55% discount. I believe in the asset. I know that the fear and greed index, which we can also find on your website, we're at huge fear, 11, extreme fear. Nobody wants to buy this thing. The asset fundamentally hasn't changed. Bitcoin is the same Bitcoin from 126K. I'm a buyer already at 58. And if we go down to 50 to 46, beautiful. I'll buy even more.
Super well said. Also, the DCA can be seen as something you can increase and or decrease. For example, let's say we touched on a 50% plus correction. Again, no financial advice, but it's a good time for me to buy too. So let's say I have $10,000, I can split my buy and say, maybe I'll go in now, and if we go lower, I'll increase my buying. Because otherwise, like Crypto Kid said, A, you might miss the bottom, and B, I can guarantee you with 100% of certainty that if you give yourself a target, something like, I'm going to buy when we get to 40,000. If we get to 40,000, you will wait 30. So you're never gonna buy. Whether if you take the emotion away and plan properly, you go, okay, 50% plus, already attractive correction, I'm gonna spread my buy into a multiple sequence or whatever you wish, and somewhere from now until the end of the year, we should indeed capitulate. And where that bottom is gonna be, we can only tell you when it happened. So if you're waiting, you will miss.
100%. And just two things to end off with, Mr. M. So I do trade with leverage, aside from just investing into Bitcoin in a spot manner. And I take my profits from my trading and it goes like 90% to Bitcoin spot. For those who are wondering, okay, when is Crypto Kids potentially opening a long position? I will do a Hail Mary trade at the mid-50s with 2x, 3x, and I'll just add to it if we go lower. But the point where I'm going to go heavy and increase my leverage from 2x, 3x to 10x, 20x is at the break of this particular trend line, which simultaneously lines up with the daily 200 simple moving average. And what you'll notice, Mr. M, is that in every single cycle, whenever BTC breaks above the 200 daily in the bear markets, it actually marks the end. So if you go to the previous cycle, 200 daily moving average broken, that was it. You pivoted into the bull. Cycle before as well, you broke above the 200 daily moving average, boom, you pivoted into the bull. And what it corresponds with is, of course, that trend line, which if you draw a nice support to match it, then you get a huge falling wedge pattern. Exactly in the way that you had a falling wedge pattern in 2023. So from the high of 2021, you draw a line of resistance and you get the following. You draw your support from the mid bull market, bear market, just like what I'm doing for the cycle from 2023 to 2025. Look at it, it's the exact same thing. At the breakouts, I'll add much more margin. And if we're lucky to get a retest like we did here, I'll basically keep that until the top of the next cycle. And some good news is that we're entering into July. We are in July. And actually, historically, in the 4-year cycles and in Bitcoin's price action, whenever you had a red June, it followed with a green July every single time. Green July, after a red June. With the Clarity Act potentially getting passed, we could see a small recovery, but ultimately reach the low in Q4. And that concludes my analysis.
Once we break this line, do you have an average of how much we dropped in the past?
Well, the thing is, we've only done it once. So the 200-week moving average has held up to be the bottom 2019. It held up in the COVID crash, it held up in 2019, but the only instance where it didn't hold up was actually the prior cycle. When we broke below the 200-week in 2022, we went down roughly 30%. So 30% from where we are, and this doesn't really guarantee anything, like because it only happened once, not enough evidence for me to say, okay, we can use this to predict, but for fun, let's speculate for fun, 30% down brings you to 41K, which is the golden pocket.
Da Vinci told me once, and he said, whenever you have multiple indicator pointing to a number, that's most likely what the number is.
Just saying. Buying now, like I can't care less if I bought now and Bitcoin fell 30, because it's only going to fall 30 in my head maximum. And I'm not going to sell if it drops 30, I'll add more. So for me, I can't care less if we drop another 30 after me buying right now.
And we don't even know how long it's going to stay down for. It could be like a quick thing. So unless you have buying orders, you're not going to catch it. And it's super tricky. Also, I would argue we haven't gone up this much on the cycle or the season, as I like to call them. So I wouldn't expect a 80%, because if we're going down at 30% down from the top, would be a severe correction. But we haven't seen that on the other side. So if we go up less, we should go down less, technically.
If we go to 42, that's a 67%. Actually, that's probably what will happen.
I think there is gravity in 40, maybe high 40s, which is where the ETF was launched.
42 is beautiful. 49 is even better. But below that, people are calling for, Peter Schiff is calling for 20. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I would not wait for any particular number, because 50% plus is already a great entry point.
Amazing.
So
Amazing. Like imagine at 126, if somebody gave you an option to say, hey, we're at 126K, but I'm giving you the ability to buy Bitcoin at 58. Would you say yes, or would you say, no, I don't like that discount. I want a little bit more. The answer to that question is applicable right now. If you said yes at 126, then you should be buying now.
I agree.
Thank you so much, bro, for having me on. And watch our video that's going to be posted on my channel, where I interview Mr. M on tips to survive and essentially get rich in the bear market, because wealth isn't made in the bull, it's made with the choices you create during price drops.
Exactly. Well said. Go and check it out. See you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.